Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to this evening satsang. We are going to commence with some purificatory mantras and the lighting of lamp. You may sprinkle water on yourselves and all around you. Om pavitraha pavitro va sarvavastangatopi va yah spare pundari kaksham sabhahyabhyantraha shuchihi. Now sip water from the palm of your right hand 3 times, doing Hari Smaran, thinking of Bhagwan. Om Keshawaya Namaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha. You may now rinse your hands. Om Rishikeshaya Namaha. Om Govindaya Namaha. Om Madhusudanaya Namaha. If you have a koos ring, a paiti, you may put it on the right hand ring finger of the hand. Om pavitre stau vaishnavyo saviturvah prasavaut punamya chidrena pavitrena suryasya rashmiभिः tasya te pavitrapate pavitraputasya yat kamaha punetachakeyam. You should now apply chandan to your forehead. Using the right hand ring finger, using the thumb of the right hand, apply to your forehead, starting at the top of your nose, moving upwards. Om Chandanam Vandyate Nityam Pavitram Papanashanam Apadam Harate Nityam Lakshmir Vasati Sarvadha. Light your home lamp if you haven't done so already. Om Bodhipatam Brahmarupa Andakara Nivaraka Imamaya Kritam Pujam Grihastejo Pravardhaya Om Deepaya Namaha. If you have agarbatti, you can also light one. Om Vanaspati Rasodbhuto Gandhadyo Gandha Uttamaha Agreha Sarva Devanan Dhupoyam Pratigrihatam. Sprinkle water on the Vedi or on the seat thinking of Mother Earth. Om Prithvi Tvaya Dhrita Loka Devi Tvam Vishnu Nadrita Tvancha Dharyaman Devi Pavitrang Kuru Chasanam. We are now going to commence with the recitation of a Ved and other important Dhyan mantras. Kindly join in by reciting these mantras, which will come up on your screen. Alternatively, if you are using the Sri Lakshmi Narayan Puja Havan or Satsang book, we are reciting from page number 25. Om 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 Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwarah Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Dhyanamoolam Gururmurtihi Pujaamoolam Gurupadam Mantramoolam Gururvakyam Mokshamoolam Guru Kripa. Om Swastina Indro Vridashravah Swastina Pusha Vishwavedah Swastina Starakshorarishthanemi Swastino Vrihaspatirdadatu. Om Payah Prithivyaam Paya Okadishu Payo Divyantarikshe Payodah Payasvatihi Pradishah Santu Mahyam. Om Vishnoratamasi Vishnoho Snaptresto Vishnoho Syurasi Vishnordhruvosi Vaishnavamasi Vishnavetva. Om Agnir Devata Vato Devata Suryo Devata Chandrama Devata Bhasavo Devata Rudra Devata Ditya Devata Maruto Devata Vishwe Deva Devata Vrihaspatir Devatindro Devata Varuno Devata. ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरौषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। ॐ विश्वानि देव सवितरदुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्नासुवा सुशान्तिर्भवतु। ॐ मानो भद्राः क्रतवो यन्तु विश्वतो दब्धासो अपरीतास उद्भिदः देवानो यथा सदमिद्वदेय सन्नप्रायुवो रक्षितारो दिवे दिवे। ॐ देवानां भद्रा सुमतिर्जूयतां देवानां रातिरविनो निवर्तताम् देवानां gwam सत्यम् उपसेदिमा वयन् देवान आयुः प्रतिरन्तु जीवसे। ॐ तान् पूर्वयानि विदाहुमहे वयं भगम् इत्रम् अदितिं दक्षमस्त्रिधम् हरयमणं वरुणगं सोममश्विना सरस्वती नः सुभगामयस्करात्। ॐ तन्नो वातो मयुभुवातो भेषजन्तन्माता पृथिवी तत्पिता द्यौः तद्घ्रावानः सोमसुतो मयुभुवस्तदश्विना शिनुतन्देष्ण्यायुवम्। ॐ तमीशानं जगतस्तस्तु शस्पतिन्द्रियञ्जिनवमवसेहुमहे वयं पूषा नो यथा वेद साम सद्वृदे रक्षिता पायुरतप्तः स्वस्तये। ॐ स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृधश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्योररिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ पृषदश्वा मरुतः पृष्टिमातरः शुभं यावानो विदतेषु जग्मयः अग्निजिह्वा मनवः सूरचक्षसो विश्वेनो देवा अवसागमन्निः। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षवीर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्ट्वाग्वंसन्तनूभिर्व्यशेमहि देवहितं यदायुः। ॐ शतमिन्नु शरदो वन्ति देवा यत्रा नश्चक्र जरसन्तनूनाम पुत्रासो यत्र पितरो भवन्ति मानो मध्या हृषितायुरगन्तोः। ॐ अदितिर्द्यौरदितिरन्तरिक्षम् अदितिर्माता स पिता स पुत्रः विश्वे देवा अदितिः पञ्चजना अदितिर्जातम् अदितिर्जनित्वम्। ॐ ह्रीचं वाचं प्रपद्ये मनु यजुः प्रपद्ये साम प्राणं प्रपद्ये चक्षुः श्रोत्रं प्रपद्ये भागौजः सहोजौ मही प्राणापानो। ॐ तं पग्निभिरनुगच्छेम देवाः पुत्रेर्भ्रातृभिरुतवा हिरण्ये नाकं गृह्णानः सुकृतस्य लोके तृतीये पृष्ठे अधिरोचने दिवः। ॐ आयुष्यं वर्चस्य gwam रायस्पोषमोद्भिदम् इदग्वं हिरण्यं वर्चस्व जैत्राय विशतादु माम्। ॐ द्यौः शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगं शान्तिः पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिरौषधयः शान्तिः वनस्पतयः शान्तिर्विश्वे देवाः शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्तिः सर्वगुं शान्तिः शान्तिरेव शान्तिः सामा शान्तिरेधि। ॐ यतो यतः समीहसे ततो नो अभयं कुरु शन्नः कुरु प्रजाभ्यो भयन्नः पशुभ्यः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः सुशान्तिर्भवतु। ॐ हे रम्ब त्वमे ये हि अम्बिका त्र्यम्बकात्मज सिद्धिबुद्धिपते त्रयक्ष लक्षलाभ पितु पितः नागास्य नागहार त्वं गणराज चतुर्भुज भूषितः स्वायुधैर्दिव्यै पाशाङ्कुश परश्वधे आवाहयामि पूजार्थं रक्षार्थं च मम क्रतुः इहागत्य गृहाणा त्वं पूजां क्रतुं च रक्ष मे। ॐ मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये। अञ्जनीगर्भसम्भूतं कपीन्द्रं सचिवोत्तमं रामप्रियं नमस्तुभ्यं हनुमान् रक्ष सर्वदा। ॐ ध्यायेदाजानुबाहुं धृतशरधनुषं भदपद्मासनस्थं पीतं वासो वसानं नवकमलादलस्पर्धिनेत्रं प्रसन्नं वामाङ्कारूढ सीतामुखकमलमिल्ललोचनं नीरधाबं नाना अलङ्कारदीप्तं दततमुरुजटामण्डलं रामचन्द्रम् ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुनवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवे वेदैः साङ्गपदाक्रमोपनिषदे गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततत्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुसुरासुरगण देवाय तस्मै नमः। ॐ वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ शान्तं पद्मासनस्थं शशधरमुकुटं पंचवक्त्रं त्रिनेत्रं शूलं वज्रं च खड्गं परशुमभयदं दक्षिणाङ्गे वहन्तं नागपाशां च गण्ठां डमरुकसहितम् आङ्कुशं वामभागे नाना अलङ्कारदीप्तं स्फटिकमणिनिभं पार्वतीशं नमामि। ॐ या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिर्देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा। ॐ लक्ष्मी क्षीरसमुद्रराजतनयां श्रीरङ्गधामेश्वरीं दासीभूतसमस्तदेववनितां लोकैकदीपाङ्कुरां श्रीमन्मण्डकटाक्षलब्धविभव ब्रह्मेन्द्रगङ्गाधरां तां त्रैलोक्यकुटुम्बिनीं सरसिजां वन्दे मुकुन्द प्रियाम्। ओम सीताराम पवन सुत हनुमान राधे कृष्ण की जय। We will now have Hanuman Chalisa and a bhajan, and when we return we will do our Gita part.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रजा निज मन मुकुर सुधार भरनो रघुवर बिमल यश जो दायक फल चार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय। गुण सागर जय कपीश तिन लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ बाज और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मोज जने ओ साजे शंकर सुवन केशरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान ज्ञानी गुनी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियाहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लायस जीवन लखन जियाई श्री रघुवीर हर्ष उर लाए रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिया भरत सम भाई सहस बदन तुम रोयस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद सारद सहित अहीशा यम कुबेर दिक्पाल जहाते कवि गोविंद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राजपद दीना मारो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु नियतार मधुर फल जानो प्रभु मुद्रिका मिल मुख माई जल दिलांगी गे अचर जनाई दुर्गम काज जगत के चेत सुगम मनोग्रह तुमरे चेत दुआरे तुम रखवारे मोदन आज्ञा बिन पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक काहो को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपे तीनों लोग हाथ के कापे भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे महावीर जब नाम सुनावे नाशे रोग हरे सब पीरा जपत निरंतन हनुमत वीरा संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन पल पावे युग परताप तुम्हारा हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंटन राम दुलारे अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता राम रसायन तुमरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाए जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाए और देवता चित्त न डरे हनुमत से सर्व सुख करे संकट हरे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव के नाय जो सठ पार पाठ कर जोई छोटे बंदी महासुख होय जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होय सीधि साथी गौरीसा तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजय नाथ हृदय महाडेरा जय बोलो श्री राम की जय बोलो हनुमान की जय बोलो श्री रामायण की जय बोलो श्री राम की जय बोलो हनुमान की जय बोलो श्री रामायण पवन तने संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसो सुरभूप, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। जय श्री राम।
जय शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर जय शंकर भोले, संग बोले वेद निराले, जय बम बम बोले। जय शिव शंकर जय शिव शंकर जय शंकर भोले, संग बोले वेद निराले, जय बम बम बोले।
Jai Shri Krishna. We are now going to commence with our Gita part, and we are doing the third verse of the 8th chapter today. The verse is up on your screen. And I hope that all of you will try to recite it with me. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavot Bhava Karo Visargah Karma Sangitah Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Let us try and recite it once more together. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavo Adhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavot Bhava Karo Visarga Karma Sangitah Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Jai Shri Krishna to all of you. This particular verse commences with Shri Bhagavan Vacha. That means the Supreme Lord, Shri Krishna, he is now speaking and he is actually replying to the two previous verses that you have encountered. Arjun has asked questions in those two verses. Those two verses are loaded with terminology. And Bhagwan is now setting out to take each of these terms, isolate them, and explain them to us in some detail. So Bhagwan now starts to speak, and he says that which is Aksharam. Aksharam means that which is indestructible. Brahma means Paramatma, or the supreme consciousness as we understand it, and Parama means the supreme or the highest state. So let's take all three words together. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. That supreme which is indestructible, all-pervading, and known to us as Paramatma, the supreme soul. Swabhavo means oneself. The individual Atma, Adhyatmam Uchyate. This individual Atma or the self is a spirit. It is not material in nature. It is not made up of the various material elements. Uchyate means it is called. So let's go back to this beginning of this verse. Bhagwan says that there is a supreme, indestructible consciousness that is referred to as Paramatma. And from that, there are individual souls that are called Swabhavo Adhyatmaha and Bhuta Bhavot Bhava Karo. Bhuta means all different kinds of beings. Bhavo means to bring forth. Bhava Karo, creation. That means to be created. Visargaha, to send forth. Karma Sangitaha is called karma. So let's look at the second line now. That supreme consciousness, that Parabrahma, is in a position to bring forth this creation. He is the only being that is capable of doing it. Therefore, he is supreme. And Visarga, when he sends it forth, when he engages in creating this world, it is called karma, sangitaha. So Bhagwan is distinguishing, he's actually showing us the hierarchy of this, giving us a very high-level overview of this creation. That the source of this entire creation is Parabrahma, is the Supreme Lord. And we are fragments of that Supreme Lord. We come from him. He creates this world. He is indestructible. And therefore, the Atma or the spirit that is contained, that we are, is also indestructible. And when it joins up with the body, That is how we understand ourselves, and Atma combined with material matter. And how does Bhagwan bring this forth? He engages in karma. It is an action. So when the Supreme engages in action, we have a result. You and I are that result, and this world is the result. Just now, I'm going to tell you why Bhagwan does that, because many of us ask the question, why does Bhagwan create the world? Why did he create us? Why do we have weaknesses while he is perfect? Very important questions. Let's pay attention and drill down on it, and let's see how we can understand this better together. So, in this verse, the Bhagwan uses words to describe himself. Aksharam and Brahma are amazing words. Aksharam means that which is endless, which never comes to an end. That is, from this word Aksharam, we get the word Akshay, as in Akshay Kumar, Akshay Patra, Akshaya Tritiya, that which does not become less. So many things in this world, as much as they are in bounty, can become less. Natural resources can become less. Great things like mountains can become less. But Bhagwan cannot become less. He is therefore referred to as Achyuta, that which cannot become less. So this word Aksharam describes his nature. Brahma has so many different meanings depending on the context. Brahma can mean that which pervades everything. It can also mean an embodiment of truth, knowledge, and bliss. And this word Brahma is different from Brahma, the creator. So Bhagwan takes the form as Brahma to create the world, or Brahma emerges from the Lord. Now that Brahma is a person, but this word is Brahma. It's not referring to that same Brahma that creates the world. It's not identical in nature. Okay? And Prakriti is the other aspect, which means nature or matter, which is used in the creation process. Bhagwan is above it. He's beyond it. Okay? Then we go on to learn about Swabhava. It means one's own being. So within us, in order for us to exist, a part of that higher consciousness has to be within us. Okay? When I say within us, I'm talking about the spirit and the body combined. The body can only be alive if that spirit is within it. Where does that spirit come from? The Para Brahma. It comes from there. Okay? And that is how we are able to exist, by that spark of the Great One. Of course, when that spark leaves this body, we understand it as death. But if we are part of that same Aksharam Brahma, it means that we also cannot become less. The soul cannot become less. It will continue to exist. This does not mean that the soul is fully identical to God, because he exists in much higher quantity, and we are but a small fragment of that same spirit. Then Bhagwan uses the word Bhuta Bhavot Bhava Karaha. Now this means all beings in the world, sapient and insapient. And Visarga is an amazing word. The Visarga means to send forth or to give rise to. Now, incidentally, those of you who study a little bit of Sanskrit, there's a two dots that you see after a word that is called a Visarga. In the version the verse that you see on your screen, after the word Visarga, you can see two dots there. So in Sanskrit, when we see that those two dots after any letter, we identify that as being a Visarga, because the one sound that exists before it automatically goes after it in some form or the other. So one sound giving rise to another sound is called Visarga. And similarly, this one great light that gives rise to us, is that process of giving rise to us is called Visarga. Visarga can also mean multiplication. God does not divide and become smaller, but one can become many. Therefore, it is called Visarga. Karma Sangitaha. This is called action. So when we are able to give rise to something, that is called action. And Bhagwan is the primordial karma yogi. He's performed the first action of creating all of us. So during the final dissolution, so I've spoken to you about creation now. What about the dissolution? The entire universe dissolves at some stage. And when this dissolution takes place, all creatures of the universe, together with some of their individual latencies, get absorbed back into the source from where we have come. We go back and become part of that supreme being, but with our latencies. So when Bhagwan creates the world again, we come with some of those latencies. Now let's talk more about that. Every time you and I pass on, we leave the body. Some of these latencies or hidden things, vasanas we call them, desires, feelings, experiences, they accompany the soul to the next body. Now imagine at the time of universal destruction, we still retain some of that. So imagine each time we change bodies, how much of it we retain. Which brings us to the conclusion of how stubborn some of these latencies are. That even changing a body, even years of experience, they still cling on to us, or we allow them to cling on to us. So the idea is to weather these things down. It's not easy to simply remove them, but weather them down so that eventually we get detached from them. These latencies are one of the reasons why we continue to take birth. So when Bhagwan then decides to resend forth this creation, Visarga, he says, I am one, but let there be many. I am one, but let there be many. So from that one, little droplets emerge. These droplets are you and I. This is called the great discharge or the great Visarga. And the birth of all beings is a combination of matter and spirit. So this great discharge that we are talking about is also mentioned in a beautiful text called Manu Smriti. And there, Manu describes creation as a yagya. So Bhagwan has performed some kind of sacrifice in order to give rise to this creation. And similarly, we perform sacrifices, yagya, sacrifices, to create many things for our benefit. And in Manu Smriti, Manu says, the oblation thrown into the sacred fire, in accordance with the Vedic injunctions, goes to the sun. And showers descend from the sun. Even so, crop follows from the rainfall, and creatures take their descent from food. How amazing is this? And many people have asked me, what is to try and see the futility of offering grains into a fire. People have even told me there are so many people starving, why are you taking grains and throwing into the fire? To start with, it's difficult to find people who really want to eat grains today. We live in Kali Yuga, people want to eat other things. And we offer a small quantity of grains into the fire, and still we donate grains to organizations that need to feed people. So we shouldn't be too critical about putting grains into a fire. It is part of the Vedic science. And Manu is saying to us, Manu is the first created man, by the way. Manu is saying to us that all these oblations that we offer, they reach the orb of the sun. And from the sun, it is shared throughout existence. So whatever we offer into the fire does not only fall on you and I. It showers all of creation with beautiful things. I therefore believe that Every Hindu, especially people that are seeking God and are truly, truly sincere about the welfare of the universe, you must perform Havan more often. In fact, even if you perform just a few ahutis every day, you will make a huge difference to this creation and to yourself. With these words, we'll conclude today's Gita discourse, and we will now look to Ramcharitmanas. But before we start the actual Doha Chopai, we are going to recite the Ramayana Stuti, or the invocation, to enable us to recite this Ramcharitmanas. Once again, I appeal to all of you to join in. Try to recite this, and you will become better and better. जेहि सुमिरत सिद्धि होय सीताराम गणनायक करिवर बदन करो अनुग्रह सोय सीताराम बुद्धि राशि शुभ गुण सदन मूक होहि बाचाल सीताराम पंगु चढ़हि गिरिवर गहन जासु कृपा सो दयालु सीताराम ध्रुवो सकल कलिमल दहन नील सरोरोह श्याम सीताराम तरुण अरुण बारिज नयन करो सो मम उरधाम सीताराम सदा क्षीर सागर शयन कुंद इंदु समदेह सीताराम उमा रमन करुणा अयन जाहि दीन परनेह सीताराम करो कृपा मर्दन मयन बंदो गुरुपद कंज सीताराम कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि महामोहतम पुंज सीताराम जासु वचन रवि कर निकर सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय। कथा आरंभ होत है सुनो वीर हनुमान आसन को प्रभु आइए सिया सखा सहित भगवान सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय। Chenji, can you put up the text on the screen, please? Thank you. रूप सिंधु सब बंधु लकी हर्षि उठी रनिवासु करही निछावरी आरती महामुदित मन सासु सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय। जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम देखी राम छवि अति अनुरागी प्रेम विबस पुनि पुनि पद लागी रही न लाज प्रीति उर छाही सहज स्नेहु बरनि किमि जाही बाय नह सहित उभटी अनवाही धरस असन अति हेतु जेवाए भोले राम सुअवसरु जानी सील स्नेह सकुच मय भानी राहु अवधपुर चहत सिधाये विदा हो न हम इहा पठाए मातु मुदित मन आय सुदेहु बालक जानि करब नित नेहु सुनत बचन बिलकेहु रनिवासु बोलि न सकहि प्रेम बस सासु हृदय लगाई कुंवरी सबलीनी, पति न सौंपी बिनती अति कीन्ही। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। करि विनय सिय राम ही समरपि झोरी, करि पुनि पुनि कहे बलि जाहु तात सुजान तुम कहो, विदित गति सब की है। परिवार पुर जन मोहि राजहि, प्राण प्रिय सिय जानि भी। तुलसी ससी सीलु सनेहु लखि निज, किंकरी करि मानि भी। तुम परिपूर्ण काम जान शिरोमणि भाव प्रिय, जन गुण गाहक राम दोष दल करुणायतन। सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। Jai Sri Ram to all of you. So in times gone by, more especially, after a wedding, when people were going to travel from the venue back to their homes, which were normally in another city or another village, they would do what we refer to as checking of sight. But that's a colloquial term. The correct term is muhurt. They would check for a shubh muhurt to travel back as a precaution not to invite any kind of negativity, accidents, or events that are unfortunate in any way. So they would want to leave within a shubh muhurt and travel back. So Prabhu Sri Ram and his brothers were preparing now to to bid farewell to their mothers-in-law and the people of Mithila. And Tulsidas ji says to us that they were Rupa Sindhu Saba Bandhu Lakhi. Their forms resembled an ocean of beauty. Sindhu means an ocean of beauty. So we know that these four brothers were the divine incarnate. We shouldn't be confused that all four of them were divine incarnate, because Bhagwan has the ability to create all of us. Why should he not have the ability of taking more than one form? And Harashi Utti Ranivasu, the entire gynecium of ladies, so the mothers-in-laws or the mother-in-laws were all mothers-in-law, all had attendants and other ladies that were in their company, obviously to give support, to assist them, etc. And all of them became very happy seeing these son-in-laws of theirs. And I think we can safely say that they were not just enraptured by their beauty, but they were absolutely happy about the qualities of these son-in-laws that were married off here. And I think any mother-in-law, any relative will be happy to see a young bride going to a home where she's going to be taken very good care of. And this is what brings out the joy. It cannot only be the physical experience. So Rupa Sindhu can also refer to the character of these bridegrooms. Karahi Nichavari Arati. So they then started to perform arti for them using lit lamps, also gave them gifts, etc. Mahamuditamana Sasu, and the mothers-in-law became extremely happy by this as well, by doing all of this. And then Tulsidas ji says to us Seeing Prabhu Sri Ram, they became exceptionally affectionate and full of love. Prema Bibasa, Puni Puni Padalagi. So much so, their love was so much that they fell to his feet over and over again. I'm not sure if mothers-in-law still fall at their son-in-law's feet on the day of the wedding, but I know that it is part of the vidi sometimes. And we can see that it was certainly done here in Mithila. Rahina Laja, normally the ladies of Mithila and ladies of that generation were quite shy. They would not easily approach their son-in-laws and engage in loose conversation, etc. But in this case, Tulsidas says, Rahina Laja, they didn't show any kind of shyness because their hearts were overflowing with love. Priti Ura, Ura means the heart. Their hearts were overflowing with love. So we can see that sincere love has its origins in the heart. That's where it begins. It's not something that is physical. It's not something that is external. It is not something that just comes off and for the reason of showing somebody that we love them. It has its origins in the heart, and because of that, the behavior becomes natural. It's a natural love. Sahaja saneha, so much of love. Barine kimi hijai. Who can describe this kind of what is being seen here? Bayena sahita ubati anavaye darasa asana atihetu jevaye. They were smeared with various kinds of cosmetics, these four brothers, and they were entertained with 6 different types of food that had 6 different tastes, should I say. So when we want to satisfy a guest adequately, there is a scripture called Sup Shastra. And in the Sup Shastra, it tells you about 6 different tastes that must be experienced in food for one to get the maximum amount of satisfaction. In fact, I have heard that if food does not have sufficient tastes, you'll eat too much of it and you'll still not get satisfaction. And maybe that's one of the reasons for obesity. So perhaps we should, it's nice to revisit this idea of how we can bring out different tastes in our food. So it does not necessarily mean that we must make too many things, but we should ensure that the food we prepare has different kinds of tastes. Because the reason why they ensured that there were 6 types of tastes is because they wanted these princes to feel satisfied with the food. Remember, they were in Mithila now and they had some distance to travel back to get to Ayodhya. And on the road, perhaps they would not get the kind of food of this kind of quality. So they wanted them to eat properly. When people come to our homes also, we should try to make food that is tasty. Actually, we should always try to make food that is tasty. And the 6 types of the different types of taste is sweetness, sour, something with texture, something with bitterness, etc. All of these help us to become satisfied with food. So this idea of smearing them with various kinds of cosmetics, it reminds me of what we understand as chumo. Okay, so what we call chumo, we use grass and hardi, etc. And people touch the feet, the knees, different parts of the body. And this chumo is actually to remove any kind of negative energy. Okay, this is the impression that I get from reading this. So they wanted these boys to leave, these young bridegrooms to leave with all kinds of positive energy around them. At the opportune time, Su Avasaru, Sri Ram starts to speak, and how does he speak to his mothers-in-law? How does he speak to his mother-in-law, should I say? He speaks with modesty, aur sakuchamaye. He speaks with a lot of affection in his voice. So that means that no son-in-law should disrespect his mother-in-law. So much so, we are going to hear how they describe the relationship with their mother-in-laws later on in this discourse. He then says to them, with all this kind of affection, Rahu Avadapura Chahata Sidhaye. Rahu means the king. That means Ramji is saying, my father, Dashrath, he now wants to leave back for Ayodhya. Bida ho nahama iha pataye. My father sent us here to take leave of you appropriately. So it tells you about the character of Raja Dashrath. Although he was in his time, Raja Dashrath was actually ahead of his times. He was a really top-class ruler and lived in a highly modern city with a cabinet, with advisors, and Ayodhya was considered to be a lot more modern than Mithila. But still, look at his mannerisms and the care that he possessed, that he sent his sons. He says, go and take leave of your mothers-in-law. And this is why they came, and Ram makes them aware of this. And he then says, Matu muditamana ayasudehi. So his ayasu means give us permission to go. Tell us to go, let us go. But do it with a happy mind. Everything is going to be well, everything is going to be good. You don't have to worry about anything. Therefore, send us off with a happy mind. Do not feel bitter in any way. And then he says, Balaka jani karabanita nehu. Always remember that we are your own children. See? So a son-in-law is reinforcing the idea of how a son-in-law should have a relationship with the mother-in-law. We are your own children. Don't look at us differently. And if you consider us to be your own child, then surely you will have confidence that we are going to look after your daughters. Sunata vachanaha bilake huranivaso. The ladies of the Gynaeceum became overwhelmed hearing these words, and Boli Nasakahi Prema Basa Sasu. The mother-in-laws could not even utter a word because they were so happy to hear these loving words of their son-in-law. Then Hridaya Lagai Kuwari. Kuwari means the princesses. That means Sita and her sisters. Hridaya Lagai, the mothers-in-laws hugged their daughters for the last time before they departed on this journey. Patino sopi binati ati kini, and handed them over to their husbands with a lot of humility, with vinati, and wish them well now for their journey. Then Sita Mata's mother, her name was Sunena. I have to tell you this actually. Many years ago, our late Guruji was talking about this, and he was a bit jovial about it. He said this Queen Sunena, in these days in Kali Yuga, we shorten everyone's names. So he said to us, you might want to call her Su. But I'm not telling you must call her Su. I'm just bringing about the humor, and I'm fondly remembering what he said to us. So Sita Mata's mother, her name was Sunena. Nayana means eyes, and Sunayana means one who had beautiful eyes. Therefore, under no circumstances should we call a person whose name is Sunayana, should we shorten it to Su, because we take away the arth, we take away the meaning of the beautiful name. So she says to Sita and Ram that I am always at your service. If there's anything you need, I am here. Who she says this to? Not only to Sita, she says this to Ramji as well. That if there's anything you need, I am here. So she didn't make it sound to Sita Mata, if you're fighting with Ramji, you must come back to me, I'm here. She never meant it like that. She said to both of them, if ever there's a need, I am here. I'm prepared to sacrifice my life for you. Bali Jahu Tata Sujan. She says, you are the best of all kinds of children. And she goes on now to see the divinity in both of them. And she says to Ramji, you know what is in the mind of all people. And you also will know that Sita is as dear as life, not only to her whole family, but the entire population of the city, and more especially her father and myself. She is as dear as life to us. Therefore, please take her with a lot of affection and make her your servant. But what kind of servant? The word servant in inverted commas. It doesn't mean a daughter-in-law goes into a home as a menial servant. She clarifies here. He says, take her as your servant with affection. That means all you have to give her is love, and she will do the rest. She will be more than willing to assist you in any way because she's our daughter, and this is how we brought her up. Okay? Then in the Sorta, she says to Ramji, your wish is fulfilled. You are the Supreme Lord, and our daughter is the mother of the universe, Janaki. Paripuranakam, your work is your task is fulfilled. Therefore, you are, she then starts to praise him. She says to him, Jana Shiromani, of all the wise people, you are Shiromani. That means you are the jewel, you are the crest jewel of wise people. There's nobody that is more intelligent than God. Bhava Priya. From all the things that can attract you in this world, it is very clear to us that love attracts you the most. Jana Gunagahaka Rama Dosha Dalana Karunanayakaha. You are different from most beings. Most people in this world, when they look at others, the first thing they see is the faults of that person. They may not necessarily talk about it, but generally that's how people can be, especially in this age of Kali. But Sunaina says to Sri Ramji, you are different. You first see all the good in people. And what do you do with their dosh, their weaknesses? You help them to get rid of it. You destroy their weaknesses. Karunayatanaha, you are the embodiment of mercy. How nice if all of us could be like that. If all of us could see the virtues in others and help them to get rid of their weaknesses. Instead, what do? We ignore the goodness of others and we talk about their weaknesses. That's our nature, that's human nature. Talking about other people's weaknesses will not help them. So let us reconsider our thinking on that. So we see that Mata Sunaina is speaking such valuable words. And I pray that younger people are listening to this satsang. I'm not sure if they are, but it's important for children to understand. When I say children, I mean young people who are looking to find partners or have found partners and are intending to get married. It's important that you understand the prayer of your parents. The prayer of your parents is that you find a good partner, because the bed that you make is the bed you're going to lay in. And no parent wants to see their children lie on a bed of thorns. We want our children to lay on a bed of rose petals. And the stakes are very high, because once you choose a partner and you decide to get married, it's not easy to exit from such relationships. And the processes of trying to exit from it can be painful and financially costly. Therefore, the sincere prayer of your parents are actually very meaningful and important, and you should see it in that light. It is the dream of any mother to place her daughter's hand in the hand of a suitor that is noble and will continue to love her daughter in the way, with the affection that she has. With these words, thinking of the beautiful words of Mother Sunaina and the qualities of the son-in-laws that she was blessed with, I pray that all the young people who may be listening, you too, may find yourself in such a situation. Katha visarjana hota hai, suno veer hanuman, आसन को प्रभु जाइए, सिया सखा सहित भगवान सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय। बोलो रे भाई सब संतन की जय। जय श्री राम। We'll now have bhajans.
जिस हाल में जिस देश में जिस वेश में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस हाल में जिस देश में जिस वेश में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस हाल में जिस देश में जिस वेश में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस काम में जिस काम में जिस धाम में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस काम में जिस काम में जिस धाम में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस काम में जिस धाम में जिस धाम में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस योग में जिस भोग में जिस रोग में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस योग में जिस भोग में जिस रोग में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस योग में जिस भोग में जिस रोग में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। जिस संग में जिस रंग में जिस ढंग में राहूं, राधा रमना राधा रमना राधा रमना कहो। ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे भक्त जनों के संकट भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे जो ध्यावे पल पावे दुख विन से मन का स्वामी दुख विन से मन का सुख संपत्ति घरे आवे सुख संपत्ति घरे आवे काष्ठ मिटे तन का। ओम जय जगदीश हरे माता पिता तुम मेरे शरण कहूँ मैं किसकी स्वामी शरण कहूँ मैं किसकी तुम बिना और न दूजा तुम बिना और न दूजा आश करो जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे तुम पूर्ण परमात्मा तुम्हें अंतर्यामी स्वामी तुम्हें अंतर्यामी पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर पार ब्रह्म परमेश्वर तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम करुणा के सागर तुम पालन करता स्वामी तुम पालन करता। मैं मूरख कल कामी मैं मूरख कल कामी कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तुम हो एक अकोचर सबके प्राणपति स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। किस विधि मिलो दया में किस विधि मिलो तुमको मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। दीन बंधु दुख हरता तुम रक्षक मेरे स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे। करुणा हस्त बढ़ाओ करुणा हस्त बढ़ाओ शरण पड़ा तेरी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। विषय विकार मिटाओ पाप हरो देवा स्वामी पाप हरो देवा। श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ श्रद्धा भक्ति बढ़ाओ संतन के सेवा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। तन मन धन सब है तेरा स्वामी सब कुछ है तेरा। तेरा तुझको अर्पण तेरा तुझको अर्पण प्यारा है मेरा। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। प्रेम सभा सब मिलकर निश दिन यही गाओ स्वामी निश दिन यही गाओ। पार लगा दो नैया पार लगा दो नैया यही अरस गाओ। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी जय जगदीश हरे। भक्त जनों के संकट भक्त जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे। ओम जय जगदीश हरे।
कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। मङ्गलं भगवान् विष्णुः मङ्गलं गरुडध्वज मङ्गलं पुण्डरीकाक्ष मङ्गलाय तनोहरिः। सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यंबके गौरी नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते। ओम यानि कानि च पापानि जन्मान्तरकृतानि च तानि तानि विनश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे। Put your hands together. If you have a flower, take it in your hand. ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम अस्तो मा सद्गमया तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमया मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमया। ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम अपराध सहस्राणि क्रियन्ते हर्निशं मया दासोऽयमिति मां मत्वा क्षमस्व परमेश्वर। आवाहनं न जानामि विसर्जनं पूजां चैव न जानामि क्षमस्व परमेश्वर। अन्यथा शरणं नास्ति त्वमेव शरणं मम तस्मात् कारुण्य भावेन रक्ष त्वं परमेश्वर। बोलिए विघ्नहर्ता गणेश भगवान की जय। जगत जननी पार्वती माता की जय। शिव शंकर भगवान की जय। सीता रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। लक्ष्मण जी की जय। श्री भरत जी की जय। हनुमान जी महाराज की जय। सीता रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। श्री राधे कृष्ण भगवान की जय। सब पितर देव की जय। ओम नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेव हर। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे। जय जय श्री राधे श्याम। जय श्री राम।